Hey there guys, so this is a book talk about this book right here. This is The Host and it's by Stephenie Meyer. And if you want to watch a review of this book and watch a spoiler-free review, then you can click on this book right now and you'll be taken to that video. But this video right here is a spoiler-full discussion where I'm just going to talk about this book. And yeah, so please comment below things that you want to say about this book to me because that's what this is about. So yeah, you've been warned, there's spoilers, let's go. So the first thing that I want to say about this book is I did not expect to like this book so much. Oh my gosh, I was so surprised, and then I just so quickly got so obsessed with it. Like, I knew that it was good because people were saying that it was really good, and the messages were good, and the writing was so really good, and people were like going on about how it's much better than Twilight, and I was like, okay, I'll read it, and then I read it, and I was like blown away how I liked it so much. Like seriously, so surprised. The other thing I want to say is I really liked Wanda. I'm so glad that she was there. Wanda, as she's known in the book, was the main protagonist, and I liked her much more than Melanie. I mean, I know that Melanie wasn't, there as much as Wanda was, but I'm pretty sure that if it was just Melanie that I wouldn't like the story as much as I do, because I feel like Melanie is kind of like this. She's like how the protagonist is normally, like, she seems like a normal protagonist, like a normal main character, and I think I would have been bored with that, or annoyed, or I wouldn't have liked her as much I'm confused. I wouldn't have liked her as much if Wanda wasn't there, and I'm so glad that she was. Wanda was so interesting, and the fact that she was alien was really great, and the stories that she told, like, the things and like the backstory and all these other planets and the way that they were described was really different and creative, and I really liked them, and yeah, I really liked all of the little planets and all their little stories. So I'm so glad that Wanda was there. And the other reason I love that Wanda was there was that the messages kind of came through her. She was new to all this stuff, and she kept on making observations about things, and that kind of led me to make observations about things. So I really like the messages in this book. That's one of the things I really like in the messages. And one of the first messages that I'm going to talk about in this video was the kind of anti-violence thing that was present in the book. So, Melanie oftentimes would always want to fight back and always want to hit people and kill people and stuff like that. And Wanda was like shocked and like, no, we can't kill them. Like, it's so, no. Like, it's wrong and bad, and I'm one of those people who would like kill them all, yes. And having a character do something that isn't giving in, that is like not conforming, like Wanda stayed true to who she was, I think, throughout the book, and I really like that, and that really made me think about violence and about how easily violent we are, and about the negative thoughts that just come into our head like straight away. And Wanda was, she didn't really like the Seeker, but she was kind of like, I can't be having these thoughts because they're bad. I want to hurt her, but that's shocking and bad, and that kind of made me feel like it should be shocking and it should be bad, and I shouldn't just want to, I shouldn't be angry in that way. The other message that I really liked about this book was how used to we are to the horrible things that happen in this world. There's a scene somewhere in this book where they see a newspaper and there's all these bad things that are happening, and Wanda is just shocked. And it kind of just reminded me that we shouldn't be okay with the way things are in our world today. There's lots of things that happen, and I mean, we shouldn't not be able to survive, or not be able to, get on with our lives because there are so many bad things happening in this world, but at the same time we shouldn't be okay with them. Like, we should watch the news, and I don't know how that would change things, but we shouldn't just be okay that people are being murdered every day. It's bad that we're used to it, and I think that we forget that because we've always been exposed to it. There's always been violence, there's always been murder and stuff like that. So I feel like it reminded me that that isn't a good thing. Sometimes I think that people get used to that, and it's bad to get used to it. We shouldn't just be okay that all these bad things are happening. So I really like that message. The other thing I really liked was the emphasis on self. Throughout the book I was thinking about whether or not I would survive having an alien put in me. Would I still be there? And it really made me think about what's important. Like, my memories, the people that I love, the people that are around me, the memories and the experiences that I have are really important. And I mean, I know that that's a message that gets given to people a lot, but it gave it to me in a way that wasn't, you know, so direct and so like, you should value people more than money or something else, you know. And the way that it was presented in this book really made me think about it and really made me kind of bring it about by myself, and I really liked that. So those are the messages that I really liked in the story. Yes, let's talk about the Twilight references. So I was reading this book, and then I got 3/4 of the way in somewhere, I don't know where it was, and there was something happening with Ian, with Jared, with Melanie, and with Wanderer. And it was when Jared, I was confused about the names, when Jared kissed Melanie's body, but he kissed Wanderer kind of too. And he was kind of coming around, like he'd kind of been ignoring them and like stopping the romance in its tracks, because he was literally, he hated Wanderer, kind of, you know? And he was kind of coming around, and I was like, I almost felt like, because books always do this to me, where there's a person, this is going to be really hard to explain really quickly. Okay, so there's a girl, and there's a guy with love triangles. There's a guy that she loves passionately, and, you know, she really likes, and they have this past thing, but I don't know, maybe he's gone somewhere, or maybe he's not always there for her. And then there's this guy who's really right for her, and really nice to her, and, but she doesn't feel as passionately about him as she does about the other guy. And then I always, most of the time, I want her to end up with the guy that just seems right for her, but then most of the time she ends up with the one she loves passionately, because let's be honest, that's who she's always going to end up with, because she loves him passionately, and, you know, they have a passionate relationship, and I'm using passionate too much. I think I need to use a thesaurus. And I felt like she was going to end up with Jared, and I was really not happy with that, because I was just not happy with that. And I know that's different to Twilight, because I am Team Edward, but I felt like she was going to end up with Edward, the passionate one that she was in love with, and not with Jacob. But I really wanted her to end up with Jacob, the person who was right for her, the person who, you know, maybe she wasn't that passionate about, but that they were just right. But by the way, just to reiterate, I'm Team Edward, so just, yeah. And yeah, I was just really unhappy about that, but it was still really complicated, being that it was Melanie that was in love with Jared, and Wanderer was in love with Jared kind of indirectly almost, but she was also in love, or beginning to be in love, with Ian. So it was confusing enough to be confusing. But yes, I was just really unhappy that I felt that kind of Edward-Jacob feeling, and then all the other Twilight things just kind of, you know, should have been let that. Gone. All that, when he touched me, I burned and tingled. I know that's in lots of books, but it just made me think of Twilight, and I didn't like that. So, the last thing that I want to talk about in this video are the sequels that are supposedly going to be made for The Host. The next books that might be made are called The Soul and The Seeker. Now, they're on Goodreads, but they're just like there as placeholders, because Stephenie Meyer said that she might write another book in this series, and I have the sneaky suspicion that if the movies do well, then she will write the books. I'm not sure. I don't know. How do I feel about these sequels that might exist one day? I would be okay with it. I really think that this book, you know, it ended well, it ended the way I wanted it to, everything was tied in a neat little ribbon and was finished and good, but I would not be opposed to another book, because I would really like to read what happens next. At the end of the book, there's this thing where they find another human group of people, and there's also a host there as well, like, with them. Or like, not a host, like a soul in one of the bodies there. Or that is a host. I'm confused. So, yeah, I would like to see how that went, and maybe how things went for, like, how the humans would kind of fight back in a more open way, and how things would happen, like, on, not in, like, you know, in, like, the cave, but outside in the real world against the aliens, and I don't know how things would go from there. So, I'd be really interested to see about that. That would be really interesting. But I think that this book ended well, and it was, you know, it's a really good book, standing alone by itself. The other thing I wanted to talk about Oh, but I still will read the book if there's another one. I just have to. I have to because I love this book so much. The other thing I want to talk about is the movie. There's going to be a movie, and that's one of the reasons that I actually read this book, is because I saw the teaser trailer for the movie, and Saoirse Ronan, I have no idea how to say her name. I always butcher her name, I think, but I love her. She's an amazing actress. She was in Lovely Bones, in Hannah, in Atonement. All three of those movies I loved. She's gonna be in this movie. I feel like she just chooses really good movies, and she's a really good actress, and so I'm just really excited to see what happens. Like, the fact that her name is attached to the movie just made me want to read it. So she's gonna be Melanie Strider in the book. And also, Diane Kruger is in the movie, and she is from Inglourious Basterds, and I really love her as well. So I'm really excited to see how the movie goes. And by the way, Diane Kruger is going to be Seeker. So I was surprised to see that she was going to be Seeker, but nonetheless, I'm really excited for the movie and really excited to watch it. I think it comes out on March 29th, 2013, I think. Maybe. I will put something there to say if I'm wrong. And also I'll put the link to the teaser trailer if you have not watched it, because it's really awesome. It's just a teaser trailer, but I'm still really excited by it. And yeah. So excited about the movie and the possible sequels. And that's all I really wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed discussing this book with me. If you have anything at all to say about this book, then please do so in the comments below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!